In today's video, we'll be taking a look at where would Her Majesty the Queen's $1 million fortune go after her death. Here is who gets Queen Elizabeth II's $500 million fortune. When you're a member of the House of Windsor, entering into the family company may come with a lifetime of respect and power, but it doesn't necessarily offer a huge fortune. Even members of the firm, as high-ranking royals have been called since the days of King George VI, are sometimes reliant on their elders for allowances, presents, and other blue-blooded favors. But it's still fantastic to be the king. After studying for the post for more than 70 years, King Charles III received enormous swaths of land, royal estates, precious jewels, artwork, and other personal property, some stretching back centuries, from his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. He also now supervises the late monarch's $42 billion portfolio of assets held in trust for the kingdom, including billions in investments, and other lavish castles, brilliant jewels, and priceless art that he will never truly possess. Her Majesty's will is anticipated to be sealed for at least 90 years, thus the actual allocation of her assets will not be known for many generations, but as her oldest son, Charles inherited the Queen's own estates, her much-loved castle in Balmoral, Scotland, where she died, as well as Sandringham in eastern England, home to the thoroughbred horse farm known as the Royal Studs. King Charles is reportedly anticipated to receive her large private collection of jewels, paintings, rare stamps, and any personal assets. Altogether, Forbes assesses these personal assets at $500 million, and Charles won't have to pay $1 of inheritance tax, according to a 1993 deal with the British government that exempts transfers of properties from one king to another. The 73-year-old monarch also accedes the throne with a king's ransom of his own, partly via the hefty yearly income he received from the Duchy of Cornwall, which paid him approximately $27 million this year, and which his oldest son, Prince William, will now inherit. As Prince of Wales, Charles undertook various efforts to safeguard the environment and develop organic farming. Through his charitable foundation, which William also inherits today, Charles controlled the biggest organic food brand in the UK, as well as a nature retreat and craft center in Transylvania that both run as bed and breakfasts. Prince William will now take possession of the Duchy of Cornwall, a conglomerate with $1.2 billion in net assets, including the Oval Cricket Ground in London, Charles' former residence at Highgrove House, where he first began farming organically in 1985, and the Isles of Scilly. But the new king will not exactly be left wanting for prime real estate. If you're liking our content so far, make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. As the next king, Charles acquires control of organizations that oversee an estimated $42 billion in assets, including some of the world's most renowned royal residences and the crown jewels. These assets, which include Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and the Tower of London, aren't held directly by the king, but are instead owned by the current monarch, in right of the crown, for the life of their reign. They're also kept in trust for his successors and the nation, meaning they can't truly be sold. In contrast to the numerous properties which submit yearly reports, the castles and gems are frequently looked upon as priceless. So what's it all worth? The single most valuable asset possessed by King Charles is the Crown Estate, a large real estate portfolio with $17.5 billion in net assets. Those include Regent Street, London's premier retail attraction, as well as Ascot Racecourse, a favorite of the Queen, and almost the entire seabed of the UK. All of the Crown Estate's net profit, $361 million in the fiscal year of 2022, goes to the British Treasury. But the royal family also receives a cut. They'll get an allocation from the Treasury known as the Sovereign Grant, equivalent to 25% of the net earnings for the financial year 2 years earlier. In 2022, the Sovereign Grant amounted to $99.6 million, based on the Crown Estate's net profit in the 2019-2020 financial year. That tremendous fortune doesn't go straight to Charles, though. A 10% cut of the net profit, $39.8 million for 2022, is put aside for maintaining Buckingham Palace. And an extra 15% is used to cover the royal family's yearly travel, formal events, housekeeping, and salaries, and those costs build up rapidly. The most costly vacation done by the royals in the last year, for instance, was Prince William and Kate's 9-day excursion to Belize, Jamaica, and the Bahamas in March, which cost around $260,000, including preparation prior to the visit. The Sovereign Grant isn't Charles' sole source of income. For one, it doesn't include physical security. As king, he also takes ownership of the Duchy of Lancaster, a private estate with $753 million in net assets that is held in trust by the monarch. The duchy's net income goes straight to the king as an allowance called the Privy Purse, which covers any additional official expenses. In 2022, it amounted to $24 million pre-tax. Unlike the sovereign grant, which is tax-free, the Queen consented in 1993 to voluntarily pay income tax on the amount of the Privy Purse not utilized for official purposes, and Charles committed to preserving the same arrangement upon his succession. In addition to the Crown Estate and the Duchy of Lancaster, Charles also possesses the Crown Estate Scotland, a portfolio with around $570 million in net assets, including the Scottish seabed, rural estates, and the rights to harvest wild salmon and extract naturally existing gold and silver in Scotland. The remainder of the Crown's holdings, at least 9 previous and present royal homes and the royal collection, which includes the crown jewels, are the most difficult to assess since they would never reach the open market and they don't publish yearly reports. Well, this brings us to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.